Idemo na Isle of Wonders.
Yes. Hello everyone, here we are again with another vlog, and this time we're going to Isle of Wonders on Tres. This vlog is gonna be a little bit of a mishmash between Croatian and English. We filmed on Croatian, but I'm going to do my voiceover in English, obviously. We started off our journey actually a day before the convention because we wanted to arrive on Krk and spend a day there before the ferry ride and have a bit of a rest from the long way there. I mean, it's not a long way there, we're from Zagreb, but we can only drive our little car on the old road, so it takes us a while to get to our destinations. We had a little bit of a detour. Our first little pit stop was at Kupa in Gorski Kotar. Leo was the birthday boy today, so he had a few requests and ideas of what we should do during our trip. His first request was taking a pit stop at one of the beaches on Kupa near Delnice in Gorski Kotar. And we love stopping here when we travel to the coast and to Krk specifically. Yeah, the water's really cold, but after you get used to it, it's so refreshing and so nice. And we spent about an hour there and just chilled and hung out. If you're in Gorski Kotar, I really recommend that you take a little detour to Kupa to refresh yourselves because it's really a beautiful, beautiful little place. And when we had our little break, we picked up our stuff, went to the car, and we were off for Krk again. Leo had a special request and he wanted fried calamari, which we then ate at this one restaurant in Čižići. It was very, very good, highly recommend. After that, we finally arrived to our family house and we rested a bit. This is Leo showing off his birthday present. In the evening, we decided that we wanted to go for some ice cream. Leo didn't get his cake that day, so we decided to settle for something else. We went to Shiloh and it was really peaceful and cute.
Tu sam, evo me. U Krku smo. Krk, Šilo.
And we sat by the road and ate our ice creams, and it was a great end of the day. Afterwards, we headed back to the house, we rested, and next morning it was time for the ferry. Not gonna lie, this was pretty stressful for us because this was our first ferry ride together.
Stigli ni sandvič pojest, a Leo uspio sve spasiti.
We had a little bit of a rush as far as the ferry goes. Long story short, we had to run back to our car to catch the ferry, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking and anxiety-inducing, but we made it and the ride was pretty chill and we enjoyed the views and the sea. We went to pick up the keys to our apartment and then went to the store to grab some food and made some amazing sandwiches.
Something to take the edge off. Netflix u apartmanu.
Bolesno.
After a quick rest, here's the fit check and we're going out again.
Idemo po akreditacije.
We spent some time wandering around to find the accreditation spot.
The future. Imamo akreditacije. I možda smo kupili majice.
But then finally found them and picked them up and actually managed to find our friends. We spent a good 5 minutes with them in the cafe and then we needed to head to the convention. First thing on the program was our little book recommendation panel about aquatic fantasy. Books you can read on the beach and stuff like that. This is the first time Corin joined us as the official member of Morna Kutia. So this was our first panel as a quintet. After the panel, we decided to take some time and wander around the Isle of Wonders. Primarily, we wanted to check out where the art alley was. First, we totally missed the right way, and then we did a really quick tour just to familiarize ourselves with the space, because
Smo skenirali ove štandove I sad idemo na kviz.
Because we went to Corin's quiz, a queer media quiz. And this was so much fun because Corin included all kinds of questions and included all kinds of media, from music and video games to series and some pop culture stuff. And then luckily all of us had a little bit of knowledge about everything, and we managed to figure out the answer to many of the questions.
Corin nam ne vjeruje.
We managed to get first place, and we got all these cool prizes. Isle of Wonders had a bunch of cool workshops, and this was one of them, a blacksmithing workshop. How cool is that?
Feral.
We met at the cafe, which I pronounced feral, but it's actually feral, I think. The opening ceremony was being held at Frane Petric Square. Practically the whole town and the whole convention came over to participate in the opening ceremony, and of course we couldn't have missed it either.
Maš kaveri. Divesna. Divesna, evo je.
I was in love with this sea serpent that was hoisted on a boat and was dragged around on the sea around the octopus, and there were a lot of people in cosplay who were on other boats and were chasing the serpent or dragon. It was so much fun. After the first part of the ceremony was over, we headed to the Tower of Tres, which was used as a little gallery of arts during the day, but for this opening ceremony, they decided to use it for their speeches and for the big celebration, of course. On the Tower of Tres, the organizers held their speech. They also mentioned and thanked all the special guests and guests of honor for coming, and there were quite a few. A lot of them were from the world of fantasy illustrations, but there were also actors from The Hobbit, and there were some prominent D&D names, like Luke Gygax. Speaking of Luke...
Luke, where are you? Luke? Hey out there. Oh, nice. Is it working? Oh, it's working now. Yeah, I got a microphone. Hey, you hear me better? Oh, yeah, I totally do. Hey, can I tell you one thing? Sure. So when we had the idea for the Isle of Wonders, we thought it's going to be just in this tower. But basically now it's in the whole city.
Yeah, I don't think all these people will fit in the tower.
Yeah, definitely not. Hey Luke, you have a die in your hands?
Yeah, I got a big one. Here, I'll hold it up.
You guys see it?
No! They used the Tower of Stress for a dice tower. And yeah, Luke Gygax threw D20 dice through the tower.
To the dice tower.
Okay, I can do that. All right, I'll go for
Can
it.
we do, wait for a second. Can we do a countdown from 10 for Luke? Let's go, 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
go! Okay, the dice going down from the third floor, the second floor. The first floor is going down and it's getting out any second now. Let's see where we're gonna get! And it's a 17 plus 3. And now it's time to light up the tower and release the flag!
Of course, the grand finale was the unfurling of the flag, which was so cool, especially with all the special effects. It was pretty late when we finished, so we went to make some dinner at Petra's place since we forgot we don't have a stove, and she gratefully allowed us to borrow hers. Saturday morning, we decided to go to the beach to actually enjoy the sea a little. This was the only time we actually managed to take a dip in the sea because our schedule was so packed, but this morning was really beautiful and really nice, and I'm really glad we got to use it to just chill on the beach. Šta si to kupio?
Masku za ronjenje.
After the beach, I had a quick change of outfits and I went to Kava s urednicima, coffee with the editors from Shtika Books, with Antonia and Vesna. People were all discussing their process and their writing process, editing process, and it was very chill. It was a nice, relaxed start of the Saturday's program. There was a little coffee station with make your own coffee, and there were also some snacks. The one thing I really like about the way Antonia and Vesna hold their program is they make it very personal. They want to include the public. You're there to participate in the conversation. You're there to share your own experience or ask questions or answer some questions from others. It's important to just talk and maybe even meet some new people, meet some new authors that write as well, and just share your experience. I'm not gonna lie, I was pleasantly surprised by how packed this classroom was, and this was a good representation of what all the other panels and presentations were gonna look like, because none of us really expected this many people. I mean, this is my first time here, so I don't have, any prior experience with Isle of Wonders and attendance, but this was amazing. Oh yeah, and then it was time for the promotion for Darkwoods Deep Water and Ghost Apparent for Jelena Donato. And this is a special promotion because not only is Jelena from Stres, but also because Darkwoods Deep Water got translated into Croatian, and her other book, Ghost Apparent, is also being translated. By the time I published this, it already has been translated and published. So yeah, if you're into fantasy with a very gothic and kind of horror-ish feel, but not too much, and with amazing characters, very diverse, then these books are really a good pick.
Zapravo ovako, priča o troje likova, znači trostruki point of view, troje likova koji svaki kroz svoju sudbinu i svoje izbore, dobre ili loše, pogrešne ili prave, jedne noći završe na jednom ukletnom mjestu kojem zapravo vlada božica smrti Morana i da bi se zapravo izvukli iz te situacije jedno od njih premoralo. Evo, to je možda najkraće što mogu reći.
I have to confess, Jelena has had many of her book promotions during these last maybe 2 years, but I haven't had the time to attend any during the conventions because I would always be somewhere else. It would always either clash with some other program that I was participating on, or I would just be too tired to go. So this is actually my first time during her book promotions, and while my schedule before this trip has been quite hectic, I decided to borrow the Croatian's translation of Dark Woods, Deep Water. So I was actually prepared when coming to this panel to hear about her process and her ideas and the way she approached this. And I'm glad I could also ask some questions. And after the panel, we had some time to go make some lunch. Leona gave this awesome 40k cosplayer some of our cosplay stickers, and she gave us this souvenir, which was so cute. Okay. After a quick lunch break, I headed to Antonia's panel about aqua horror, and when I tell you this room was packed, yeah, all of the rooms were packed, but this one was filled to the brim with people. I was sitting with Petra at the very, very back of the room. The air conditioning was on, but because there were so many people here, it was still pretty stuffy and hot. So luckily, I was sitting next to the window. Antonia reads and writes a lot of horror. She's also very fun to listen to when she talks about said horror. So this panel was super interesting and super fun, and everybody actually loved it.
Slowly come back to the point that you can get lost because the sediment, if you panic and you move too fast.
Afterwards, she had some of her books for sale, so people could come in and grab something if they wanted to read it. Remember when I mentioned all those fantasy illustrators? During the convention, they were drawing some illustrations which would later be auctioned, and the visitors could walk past and just see some of the process, which was really cool. But Leo was here today because...
Leo, pokaži što čekamo.
Potpis za gospodina artista koji je tamo viđen.
Zadovoljan.
Then it was time for another quick break, but we didn't stay too long with the gang at the cafe because we wanted to go see the stands again. Probably the most important part of the program on Saturday was our horrific striga party.
Ready for alcohol? Jesi spreman?
S takim školom sam čovječe.
Zato što ne mogu dalje.
Spreman sam, imam lubinu.
Partially because it was the big promotion for our horror novellas from Striga. As any good party should have, we had drinks. Don't worry, we were all of age here. We had our musicians, a whole band actually, with an ukulele and a banjo and a saz. And then it was time to get the party started.
Mašti kameri!
Jedan tekstić.
Dobrodošli svi. Ovako, mi smo ovo najavili kao horrific striga party, ali ono što nismo spomenuli da je ovo i rođendanski party. Malo iznenađenje. Tako da, i htjeli bismo se priključiti ako svimo nas troje.
Originally, our plan was to celebrate Leo's birthday outside of the program, and when we had time to just chill and relax in some cafe with some drinks. But we went behind his back and decided to make the horrific Striga party into his birthday party too. So aside from celebrating our novellas, which was a big thing, and we had a lot of fun talking about them and promoting them and speaking a little about about our creative process and our themes, we could also do so with cake. I'm really glad we got to make this happen and that everybody had fun. It was a true party. It was a real party. We celebrated with drinks, cake, and songs. I talked a little about Ivana's Bye Bye Babaroga, Petra's A Night to Slave For, and The Last Witch of Loinska Polje, and it was a lot of fun. This panel was also the big cover reveal for my novella, which is coming out this fall, and I don't have a footage of that, unfortunately. But the cover is already out, so you might as well check it out. And if you like eco horror and are not afraid of bugs, this might be a book you could check out.
Cross tunnel.
The end of Saturday was reserved for the cosplay show, of course. All of us went to watch it, but we scattered around because it was packed. Practically the whole convention came in to watch the show, and with good reason. Everybody was really excited to see the creativity of the people who compete, and we were also excited to just see them perform or walk on the stage to show off their cosplays. The judges this year were Sif Cosplay,
Welcome to the cosplay competition. I hope you will love it. We already had a look at the costumes. There were many participants, many great costumes and much creativity here on set.
Kadart Cosplay,
So many fantastic participants, a lot of newcomers, and when you see them, you wouldn't think that that's their first costume. But it's just fantastic to see how this craft inspire and go forward and bring many new people to it. And I hope that all the participants are enjoying themselves, especially.
and Noemi from MondoCon.
Cosplay is for everyone, and I hope you are inspired by these costumes, and we will see more and more cosplayers each year in this dress. Have a good night.
One thing I do want to mention is that we barely saw any cosplayers around, mostly because we were constantly either inside on some part of the program or in our apartment. But I also believe not a lot of people walked around in their cosplays because it was so hot. It was around 40 degrees each day. It was really hot and really stuffy. And I'm sure most cosplayers stayed indoors as much as they could. Maybe even just avoided going in cosplay during the day. But that just meant the cosplay show was the grand reveal for all of them, at least for me. Maybe some of you who will be watching this saw them around. I just saw very, very few. I did recognize a lot of the cosplayers from some of our other conventions, but some of them were really new to me and their cosplays were amazing. The performances were really diverse. Everybody had their own special thing to show off, either with music or with a dance or with comedy sketch or something. It was very cool. It was very fun to watch. So yeah, some of the people had really amazing props, like huge swords.
What are these sounds?
I really tried to find all of the cosplayers and their socials so I could put them in the video, and if you like someone, you can follow their work or support them. But unfortunately, I couldn't find everyone, so Please keep that in mind. And also, if you know somebody I didn't tag, mention them in the comment.
Come on, Mr. Frodo. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
The last of the performances were actually cosplayers who applied as their own original characters, which I thought was a really cool thing. Isle of Wonders incorporated into their cosplay competition. Original characters also can have really interesting designs. And then the cosplayers can put a lot of thought into their story and their costume as well. That's actually what the judges were looking for. So not just the costume and how well it was made, but also the performance and the story of the original characters. And then at the end, of course, was the grand announcement of the winners. They started off with honorable mentions, and the honorable mentions are as follows: Armin van Alchemy for Geralt of Rivia, then to Desdemona for Elizabeth Swann, Sunset Piglet for Minotaur Gamer, who was also one of the youngest in the competition, Nyx for their cosplay of Skull Kid, who needed to go home before the announcement, and Matej Stanin for Soler of Astora. Afterwards, they announced the Vox Populi, in other words, the person who collected the most stickers, which went to Eva Cutie Pie for Sister Repentia from 40k. And the best original characters went to Vesna Jukic and the whole team behind the costumes. And the judges explained that not only did they make up a whole storyline for their original characters, they also use traditional methods of manipulating wool. Third place went to Hanami Cosplay for Alexstrasza from World of Warcraft, and I think this is much deserved because that was an impressive armor build and it looked great on stage and the performance was very good. Second place went to Eva Mikulic for Tanjiro Kamado. I couldn't see the details from the cosplay from so far away, but I've seen photos and I've heard what the judges said about it. And there was so much thought and skill put into this cosplay, so it's no surprise that they won silver.
And the first place is for Frodo.
Ashdaya Creations and Sonia the Hobbit got first place for their interpretation of Sam and Frodo. Their performance was super fun and super emotional. I think they did great. There was a lot of details that went into these cosplays that you can't see with the naked eye and from so far away. Yeah, they made their feet, they made the constructions under the clothes to make themselves appear closer to what Frodo and Sam looked like in the movies. And oh my god, and after such a long day, it was finally time to head back to the apartment for a good night's rest. Isle of Wonders also had organized concerts at the end of the day, but we were too tired to stay and listen to them. And then we were off to day 3, and our already traditional recording of a Mora FM episode. Of course, what would be a Striga or Morina Kutija program without coffee and snacks? This episode was about the medieval times in Europe, and we had two special guests, Jelena Donato, who you can remember from earlier from her book promotions, and Antonio Filipovic, who is an illustrator, a comic book artist, who oftentimes does cover art for Striga's books. This was a really interesting discussions, and both of the guests covered pretty much everything that people should consider when writing or drawing or doing anything connected to the Middle Ages, because there's often things that people forget to either incorporate into their art or just wrongly describe. So they addressed all the little details people should be wary about or research when writing or drawing anything related to this theme.
Pa ne znam, mislim, teško je, ja sam čitala članke gdje oni to predstavljaju kao činjenicu, ali evo ovako, sad da se opet vratimo na povijesne izvore, jako je teško utvrditi šta su tako daleko u povijesti, znači recimo 1000 godina u povijesti radili obični ljudi, jer običnim ljudima niko nije pisao. I onda je tu jako teško, onda su opet to neki izvori koji dolaze iz druge, treće ruke.
The episode is already available on all podcast apps or sites, so you can go ahead and listen to it. One panel I really looked forward to was the cosplay panel right after the Mora FM recording. This was a panel with one of the judges from the cosplay competition and with the cosplay winners. This was a great opportunity to hear more about their creative process and how much work and skill went into their costumes.
And we were like, we need to make this products. And we were like, when should we do it? Let's do it in summer with the tape and everything. Such a smart decision. Yes.
I think it's like your rule number 1 or number 2 of cosplayers that you have to put out the bikinis in the winter and all the heavy armor and clothing in the summer. It's always cosplayers. I don't know why, but it's always how cosplayers.
I've been following Ajdaya for a long time. I know it's been years. Let's just say her work is a great inspiration, especially her sewing stuff. I have a great deal of appreciation for them because, wow, you just have to see some of the work she does. It's on her Instagram. So both her and Sonia are actually really experienced cosplayers who've been doing this for years, and their work is really on a professional level. I mean, Ajdaya is a professional costume maker, so it's no wonder their costumes blew away the judges.
Character that I really love. Otherwise, I'm not comfortable in that cosplay.
Yeah, you're putting months and years into that costume. You really need to love it to finish it.
Months and years, but yeah, like a few weeks. Few weeks. We did Frozen Sun like in 4 weeks. Tops, yeah, 4 weeks tops, and we worked full shifts also.
And have a child as well, a toddler who is like, no, that needs to
so yeah.
Noemi and her husband both did a little promotion for MondoCon in Hungary and also invited the winners to participate in the cosplay competition. I was alone in the morning because Leo was sleeping, so I took some time to wander around and filmed some other locations I haven't yet filmed.
Oho, male camera shy.
The artist alley was situated between rows of trees, and there were a lot of cicadas around. And speaking of bugs...
Okay, glue!
Leo and I had an infestation of ants. In the afternoon, I went back to the convention and got a signature from Anna Podedvorna, who is also known as Akreon. She was so sweet. She signed my book and I bought a print from her, and I was really happy that I got to meet her. A little later was lunchtime, so we sat down to get some pizza. And the crew from Rijeka was going home, so we said hi to them. Sunday was really chill and there wasn't much we actually had to do. So we spent most of the day just wandering around or chilling in the apartment. Here, Leo and I were watching Point Crow and his legendary Legend of Zelda videos.
When turkeys breathe, do they gobble in or gobble out?
Smelling lovely.
Ooh, what did I say? What was that?
Pokaži lubenicu. Our goal in every convention is basically to attend as much quizzes as we can because we love quizzes. We went to the extraordinary music quiz and had a great time. The questions were really cool, so they weren't too hard and we knew many of the answers, but there were some questions that you needed to think about. The questions were all around the place with different types of answers, and there was even a part where you needed to draw the answer. The competition was pretty fierce. There was a lot of music lovers in the room, so we didn't win anything, but it was still pretty fun to participate. We decided to check out the auction for the original illustrations, which I mentioned earlier. They were finally done and put around the room so the people can see. The auction was in full force when we went down the stairs. It was really cool to see, and everybody was super excited to get their hands on some of the artworks in front of them.
110 euros for this piece of art. We have 110 euros, 164. We're going in, okay, we have 69, 120 euros. 130 euros, number 6, Marco Bernardini. Do I see 140 euros? Do I see 140 euros? Okay, there is 140 euros, 69. Love it.
The money was going to be donated to the Tres Home for the Elderly, and I thought that was such a nice way to organize this auction, and I think it's also a great way to give back to the city that hosted this convention. Because conventions are, in the end, all about community, and if the festival goers support the local community will also be welcoming of visitors.
Dobby ate some mushrooms.
And the last quiz for today, and the last quiz of the convention, the horror quiz. This quiz was also pretty interactive. We had to write down the answers and then needed to pick them up after each question.
Okay, Pennywise the Dancing Clown, Pennywise, and Ed being crossed out.
Ironically, I haven't seen many of the classic horror movies or read any classic horror books, but I hope I managed to redeem myself one day. Luckily, the other people in my team knew more than me. Morale is fading. Yeah. In the end, we didn't win anything, but it was also really fun to play. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the convention. We took the chance to wander around the artist alley once more, and this was also the last chance to buy anything we still wanted to get. There were a lot of people around in the evening, just hanging around and trying to get their hands on some souvenirs and some handcrafted things they really love. At the very end, we went to Petra's place again and made a bunch of nuggets and just chilled at the end of the day. And that's it. Monday morning, time to go home, time to leave behind this beautiful place. I can't really put into words how fun this was, and the experience was great.
Yogurt time! Yogurt time!
Yeah, our car was one of the last ones on the ferry. We really have a lot of luck with our little car. And yeah, that was it. Isle of Wonders 2025 is over. We had a lot of fun and we were really glad we got this opportunity to visit this convention. It was truly an experience and I hope we get to see it next year too.
So, any comments? How
It was
was
fun.
it?
It was fun.
Yay! It was fun.
It was hot.
Yeah.
Really hot.
But fun.
But fun.